Hi guys, it's Murray, and look, it's obviously the famous Ryan from Leafs Fan TV, and we're doing our Walk to the Subway review. Apologies for the attire, Ryan. I was out at dinner.
You jinxed it, buddy.
I did. It is actual my fault. It could be one of those like camo tops that we've seen, maybe.
Not a fan of the camo jersey, won't lie.
Me
Not a
neither.
fan.
I only think it's good if you're in the military. When I see people walking around in the camo jersey, and it's like, you're clearly 12.
Yeah.
It's like, stop wearing that. All right, let's get into it. So, we lose in OT, in Washington, so that makes the series 3-2 to the Caps. I talked to a lot of fans tonight. Like, how nervous should we be? Realistically, let's look at this as a whole, and not like, oh no, we're gonna do it in 6. Realistically, how nervous should we be?
My nerves on the series, high.
Yeah.
I mean, you're always going to be high when you're facing elimination. My nerves on the team, as a Leaf fan, I've never felt this confident in a group they've had ever.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you and me have talked about this so many times. When we look back at it, it's so easy to get caught up in this amazing hype, and it's playoffs, and you can't help but get caught up. But how many times have you and me said, if you'd have told me we'd have got to the playoffs and we'd be going toe to toe for Washington, we would have taken your hand off at the start of the season?
Yeah, well, I mean, and I think we've made that point. I think after every game, because we're just so surprised that it's been this close. I don't think anyone had one goal separating these teams. I mean, it's literally back and forth. Look, at the end of the day, this is all beneficial. If they win, if they lose, unless they lose in some miraculous way of blowing a 5-goal lead in the third period, this is going to be beneficial. You want them to win. I think you want them to win at this point, and I think that's the toughest thing. We're getting greedy, and we're realizing that they can compete. I think the main thing is when you look at the team in a whole, they make a couple moves on defense, and this team, I mean, is they're up there. I think they're a lot closer to contending than a lot of people thought they would be. So I think that's what is going to seeing this quality of hockey is what's driving this right to win through Toronto fans. And
I tell you.
To be honest, I don't think a lot of them know how to react because they haven't seen this quality of hockey. I'm gonna say ever.
No, I mean, let's do something slightly different on Leafs Fan TV. Let's actually talk about the Caps and stuff. So President Trophy winners, they're top of the NHL. Are they playing that well, or are we going toe to toe? Because does this look like a team that can win the Stanley Cup? Who we're playing?
I don't like to judge a contender off one series. I don't think that's fair. Because you look at any team that sweeps, the next series they might get.
Sure.
Yeah, I think when Pittsburgh first won the Cup, you look at them, they made it to the final. I think they only lost 1 or 2 games, and then they got, they couldn't handle Detroit that first year. They came back and won it. But what I think they learned is that to be a dominant team, you have to be able to beat the best. So I think you saw tonight they're playing up to par. I think they're figuring out the Leafs and how to solve them. But I just think you're still seeing the Leafs being able to counter that and dominate them at periods of times for long stretches too, not just 2-minute intervals. I mean, they'll dominate it for a good 5-minute chunk of the game.
Yeah. Moving forward then, Game 6 in Toronto. Personally, I'm feeling extremely confident about that. I mean, the crowd's going to be like something we haven't seen in a long time because it matters. Hey, after you, brother. Because it matters, like in a big way. They haven't had a hockey game which matters in such a long time that it's going to be crazy. I mean, and I think that's going to carry the team home, and then, off we go to Game 7, and that's where it's a roll of the dice for me. I don't know how you're feeling about that, but that's kind of how I see this playing out.
I think it's just a win or lose. I think the Leafs are going to want to win. I mean, are they going to win Game 6? Just like the rest of the series, it's going to be a toss-up, and Game 7 is going to be the exact same if they get there. So, honestly, I couldn't tell you who I think is going to win. I couldn't even take a guess. I mean, I'll tell you one thing, it's going to be a 1-goal game.
They always are. They always are.
So you might as well bet on that.
this has become a theme in our videos. We're always talking about, you know, how well the Leafs are doing, and you know how we have to look in things in hindsight. But you really do have to look at that because it's such a big part of the narrative here and the story here. The boys are doing something that they were not projected to do, and you know, win or lose, or however we walk away from this series, it's still a phenomenal achievement.
Yeah, and you know what? Being in Toronto, the biggest fan base, and I mean, we've seen what the media does to this team. I think this year was a surprise year, but I think the honeymoon's going to be over next year now that we can see what this team can do, and it's going to add pressure. It will add pressure, regardless of the result of this series. It's going to add pressure next year, and it's going to be. I think they'll be fine personally, but it's going to be interesting to see because I think this team has proven, if anything, they are going to be contenders much sooner than later.
So that's everything from us tonight. Yeah, like we said, unfortunately, the Leafs lose in OT to the Caps. We will be down at the Fan Zone on Sunday. Please make sure, if you're there, to come and find us. If you like what you've heard, please leave a comment, a like, subscribe, and if you want to see more of this man, because obviously you do, click this button right here. We'll see you Sunday, right?
Yeah, go Leafs, go.